Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the steps for building first artificial neural network with the TensorFlow and the Keras. So we will be using here a TensorFlow and the Keras together. Earlier Keras used to be a standalone module, and it used to work with the TensorFlow and other deep learning frameworks. But after TensorFlow 2, Keras has become integrated part of the TensorFlow. Now these Keras are included in the TensorFlow. So by installing TensorFlow, you automatically install Keras with that. Let's go ahead and see what is this TensorFlow. So whatever we have learned here previously, like all these terms related to the deep learning, all these neural networks, feed-forward, deep neural networks, perceptrons, neurons, backpropagation, activation function, stochastic gradients and optimizers, all these we don't need to make these from the scratch. All these are already made by the Google. So this TensorFlow is actually a package of the Google. So this is given by Google. So this TensorFlow already have all these neural network built, and these are written in more optimum and optimized way there. So we can use TensorFlow and the Keras together to make our neural network. So all the neural network, multi-layer perceptron, gradient descent, backpropagation, all these we can make with the TensorFlow and the Keras here. Alright. We have already seen how you can install the TensorFlow. So the installation of TensorFlow is already done. Let's go ahead and see about its APIs, or you can click on the learn. Then you will see there the TensorFlow. So you can learn the TensorFlow, basic TensorFlow. You can learn the TensorFlow JS. So this TensorFlow JS supports these machine learning in the browsers there. If you click on learn more, you will be coming to here on the TensorFlow end-to-end open source platform for machine learning. If you click on the tutorials, then you will see here a lot of the tutorials which you can click and get started with the TensorFlow. Alright, obviously if you want to start by yourself, you can come there and you can start using the TensorFlow. And if you see, this TensorFlow is used with the Keras because this Keras is now integrated part of the TensorFlow. So this Keras is high level API, or you can say that it is high level library which is built on the TensorFlow. Alright, so if you see this TensorFlow, you know, the low level API, those are very complicated to make. But these Keras has made those API in a very simple way. For example, if you just need to make a layer, then you can simply call there a sequential layer, and then you can add the flattened, dense or dropout layer directly. So all these things are made simple by the Keras. Otherwise, earlier it used to be a very difficult process to prepare a deep neural network with the TensorFlow. So this Keras has made those things very simple. For example, if you see it here, a simple model is just prepared with the help of the Keras. So the Keras uses their sequential layer, a flattened layer, a dense layer, a dropout layer and dense layer just to make these models. So the dense layer, when I explained you earlier, something like this. When a neuron is connected with all the previous neurons and all the forward neurons, then those becomes as the dense layer. Alright, so that's what we see there. This is the dense layer or fully connected layer. And in the Keras, you can again see on the API doc, and then you will see here all those layers or the neural network methods which you can use from the Keras. So don't worry about that. It is huge here. There are so many APIs. You don't need to learn all these APIs at once. Don't worry about that. In coming lectures, we will be covering most of the things to get started with the deep learning. Alright, perfect. So let's go ahead here and see how you can again build your network. So you need to use TensorFlow and the Keras library to make your artificial neural network. But before that, you have to prepare your data set. Then you do the data pre-processing. Thereafter, you use the sequential layer, what we had seen previously. Thereafter, you use this sequential layer, and that is also known as inside that sequential layer, you add that input layer, and then you do the random weight initialization. So why this random weight initialization? For example, if all these weights are initialized equally, then during the back propagation, whatever the changes are coming from here, those will be applied to all weights at once. That means we will not make any difference in target output. So everything will change in a sync, so the output may not converge. So that is why we need to initialize all these weights randomly. Otherwise, our model may not work properly. Thereafter, you need to add the hidden layers, you need to select the optimizers, loss method or loss functions, performance metrics. Thereafter, you need to do. Then you do the compilation of the model, thereafter you fit your model, and then finally you do the evaluation of the model. After this, if your model is not performing well and your model is not up to mark, then you go back and change either the data pre-processing method, or you change your model or optimization technique or any other parameter. So these techniques are kind of the hyperparameter tuning. Once you get your optimum result, you package your model and then you push it into the production. So this is the process of making your neural network with the TensorFlow and the Keras. In the next lesson, I'll show you how you can load the data and then how you can get started with the actual coding of the neural network.